Hello and welcome to week 13 of NFL Game Picks. We got Joey, we got Chris, and we got the new setup.
Yes,
I
sir.
told you guys there was going to be a surprise. Here it is. We all moved into a place and got some extra room, so we expanded a bit.
Got a little podcast set up going. It's nice.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. But week 12 was quite the week. How'd you
Sure
guys
was.
feel about just what went on? Let's start with Joey. I know it's a big talking point for him.
Future! Love it. Jordan Love. Pun intended. Wow, dude. That was awesome. Christian Watson, still killing it. Officially not a bust. Potentially the best rookie wide receiver in the NFL this year, and who knows, maybe offensive rookie of the year when it's all said and done.
Chris?
Oof, rough week.
Yes, yeah.
For us. Lost to the Jets. We started off looking like we were going to keep it close. We scored on, I think, our opening drive. And then on our second drive, we scored again. And it looked like it was going to be a good game. But lots of injuries to the Bears. Lost Eddie Jackson. That sucks a lot. Lost Mooney, which means I got to drop him and change my name at work from Mooney Tunes to I don't even know.
No, you got to keep him. At this point, you have to, bro.
I don't
You've
know.
dedicated the whole season to it.
Yeah, I might as well just keep him on my bench anyways because I'm not going anywhere in that league. But, man, rough week for us. Fields didn't play. Didn't mention that. But, man, he was a late scratch, so I'm hopeful for this week. But we'll see. We got a lot to talk about when that game comes on, though.
Well, since you guys all brought the place down already with your losing ways, you got to bring it up, right?
Yeah, bring it up, bro.
No, the Miami Dolphins secured an easy win against the Houston Texans. Got out to an early lead, 30-0, and then allowed Houston to get back with 15 points, but did not really affect the final score of the game. Dolphins didn't score in the second half, so nothing really crazy going on there. But tough test coming along this week for the Dolphins, so we'll see what happens. Now, let's get into the leaderboards. We have Steve back on top once again, just staying there. Easy wins for him. He went so far in the season, 117, 63 losses. Went 12-4 this week, but he didn't have the best week. That belongs to someone else. It's not me. No humble brag here. But I went 10-6. I should be 11-5. I just mistakenly forgot to put in the Pittsburgh Steelers Colts game, which I went with the Steelers on that one. The Steelers, and they ended up winning. So it would have affected my overall season score, which right now is at 111-69. And then we also have Eddie with the same record currently, and he also had an 11-5 week. And Matt had the best week, 14-2. Congrats, Matt. Good job. He went up to 109-71 overall in the season, really putting him at a good spot and quite the distance from the rest of the leaderboard, which two of them are sitting here with me.
Oh, man.
Oy vey.
Yeah, we got our dog, DJ, at fourth, 101.79. Mark at 180. And then I'm following it up, tied with this guy across from me, Joey, 99.81. I had a pretty good week last week. I think I went 11-5, if I'm not mistaken.
You went 11-5. You had
which was
one of the better weeks.
Yeah, pretty good week for me, and I'm hoping that continues. I was off all Saturday, or Sunday, for the first time in a while. So I was just watching the picks, watching the leaderboards, watching the games. The Bears game was on normal TV for us here, which was crazy because that hasn't happened all year besides, primetime games. So that was cool, too. Didn't have to stream it on my laptop. But I was just watching my name go up and down, up and down. I think I was, higher than DJ at one point. I definitely wasn't catching Matt, but
Nah.
Damn.
but between the three of us, we were just all
Shuffling.
rotating.
Yeah.
Yeah. But hopefully, hey.
10-6 on the week. Second to last in the entire league.
Well, technically you're last because Thomas gave up. So right now you're currently last.
Well, I'm
Tough.
technically last. The season is over. No, I'm playing.
Still have a
But
chance.
no, it's good. 10-6 on the week was nice though. Would have been 11-5 if the freaking Falcons pulled through. I was the only one here that picked the Falcons last week, and everyone made fun of me. Chris, you made fun of me specifically, and they almost pulled it out. You were right, but hey, it was a lot closer than expected, and I was ready to brag about it, and here I am, looking stupid.
Especially with that cheese head on your
Hey.
head, dude.
At least I'm not wearing a dumbass fin on my head.
I am not wearing one, but I'll put them up, dude. I'll put them up.
It's back there. I see it.
Hey, yeah, I tucked it behind. Anyways, let's hop into the first matchup of this week 13, and we have the Buffalo Bills heading to the New England Patriots, and this is the first game in December, Thursday Night Football, and Buffalo is favored 3.5 points over money line at 205, minus 205 for Buffalo. Over under set at 43 points and a half. Now, I think we all know where we're going with here, but there are some things to talk about in this game. You have the Patriots, who almost got a win against the Vikings last week, who were robbed of a Hunter Henry touchdown. And you also have the Bills, who have been lacking as of late. They haven't looked their best. Even with that being said, I'm still going to go with Buffalo just because I think in principle they are the better team. But with their late trend of how they've been playing, it's been suspect. And there's an opportunity for the Patriots to squeak one out here, even though they're still at home. I think Buffalo takes this one.
I'm going to agree. I think Buffalo does win, although they didn't look great last week. It was a Thanksgiving game, I guess, and they got the win. A win's a win. I think Buffalo does. I guess they go into New England and beat Bill Belichick, which is hard to say, but they're the better team in my opinion. I think they should win. Hopefully Von Miller comes back for them because I think he's a huge part of
his injury is huge.
Yeah, and he's a huge part of what they try to do, and a great locker room guy. But yeah, they don't face each other again to the last week, so this is an important game for both teams. But I think Buffalo gets the win here.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think Buffalo is for sure getting the win here. New England has been playing people very tough, and Buffalo has been looking very underwhelming this second half of the season, I guess. Josh Allen, need to do better. I said that it's the MVP is your award to lose, and in my opinion, you've lost it. I think Tua Tagovailoa or Jalen Hurts are much better candidates for the award. And that doesn't really hinder my decision. I'm going with Buffalo. But at the end of the day, they need to turn this thing around. They need to start winning with ease again if they want to see success in the postseason.
Yeah, and there's the race for the AFC East crown is very close. It's only separated by 2 games. Currently, Dolphins are tied with Buffalo, but have the tiebreaker at 8-3. Then we have the Jets at 7-4, and then the New England Patriots at 6-5. So it literally could go to anyone in this division. This is an important game, and it should make for a good prime video game because a lot of these games have been scolded as probably the worst games of the week. But I think it'll be very good. But let's move on to the first game on Sunday, and man, oh man, is it quite the game. So
I hate it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll get to you next. But we have the Cleveland Browns taking on the Houston Texans. And yes, Deshaun Watson is making his first start as a Cleveland Brown. And then on top of that, he's facing his former team. But let's get Joey. He's hyped.
Hey, man. All I got to say is I don't agree with anything that Deshaun Watson does. I don't like him as a person. I don't like what he's doing. But look. I'm 4th in my league. Last little spot in the playoffs. Look, man, I need a good quarterback performance. I'm riding with Deshaun Watson this week. I'm riding with the criminal. It's really hard, but I'm doing it. And I think he's going to have a great performance, a great game in this little revenge game. And I need to retain this bad boy right here. So,
Shiny.
Deshaun Watson this week it is.
Hey.
I hate it, but I'm going to go with the same team that you guys picked as well.
Yeah, dude, thanks for bearing my lead.
Well, they're the better team. Houston stinks. And I'm mad also because this game should have been in Miami.
Yeah.
His return should have been
Yeah.
last week in Miami. The NFL loves their storyline.
Well, a couple weeks ago, but yeah.
Of course, this is him coming back in Houston, where he used to play. I guess that's interesting, but the game probably won't be that interesting. Cleveland coming off a big one in overtime against the Bucs too, so I think they win this one.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with you guys. Not a huge fan of Deshaun Watson. I agree with you with they should have had him come back against the Dolphins because the whole speculation of the last year and a half was Deshaun Watson to the Dolphins and moving off of Tua and all this stuff. And I'm glad the Dolphins didn't go through with that because Tua's playing as a top tier player, like you guys, like Joey alluded to, MVP type of player. So I'm going with the Browns though. They are the better team. Houston 9-1. Saw firsthand how this Houston Texans team plays last weekend. Not the best football team. The one shining star on that team is Dameon Pierce. So if he can get a good game going, they might stand a chance. But even then, you got to go with the Cleveland Browns on this one. But let's hop into something that is a little bit more interesting, but not that much, in my personal opinion. And we have Denver Broncos versus the Baltimore Ravens. Baltimore is heavily favored, -9 on the spread, -420 money line, over-under set at 30.5. If they're favoring the Baltimore Ravens -9 and the over-under is set at 38 with how the Broncos have been playing as of late, not so much offensive power, I think you got to slam, the under? Because Denver's not going to score a lot of points. I don't see the Baltimore Ravens really putting up a lot of points. I think they do hit the spread, but even then, that's questionable. I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens. I think sure-fired, they are the best team in this matchup. But some people here may disagree with me on that.
Before this, we did a little practice go, and I was trying to say that the Broncos deserve a little bit of respect, I guess. I don't know. I'm an idiot. Let's go with the freaking Ravens here, dude. This game stinks.
Okay.
Baltimore's going to go in there and whip their ass. They're on a revenge game. Lamar Jackson is that boy, and that's what it's going to be.
All right. I like it.
Watch Chris flip now.
Flip-flopped. I'm not going to flip. I'm still going with the Ravens. The Ravens are clearly the better team. A lot of topics lately on sports shows, I don't know if you've seen them, have been like, does this season taint Russell Wilson's chances of making the Hall of Fame? Personally, I hate that conversation.
I don't think so.
I feel like if you've already to this point agreed that he's had a Hall of Fame career, then he still should. Like, you can't
One bad season
shouldn't rule it out when he's won the Super Bowl. Probably should be two. Anywho, we all know what happened there. But I'm pretty sure he has a torn labrum. Like, let him, why play him anymore? You know what I'm saying? Like, let him have surgery, let whoever the backup is play, and let the Broncos get a good draft pick and think about next year. I'm still rolling with the Ravens. I agree with both you guys.
Nice, very nice. One concerning thing with the trend of the Ravens lately is their inability to win games that they held the lead in. And a big lead too. Like, they had this one wasn't so big. It was a 9-point lead, but there's been double-digit leads that they've given up to plenty of opponents. And this is their fourth loss in that type of matter this year. They lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, for anyone who doesn't know.
Yep.
And
on the last play of the game.
Essentially, there was still some time that they had a chance to go and kick a
awesome.
game-winning field goal.
Yeah.
It was almost a 70-yard field goal from Tucker, and he just came up short. But still, he came up pretty much
pretty close.
this is where the ball was. I don't know if it's coming out there. The ball was pretty much right there, so close. Anyways, we have a pretty good matchup. All right, this is how we're gonna go. We're gonna go Joey and we're gonna go Chris. All right, ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Hey, we're going with the Green Bay Packers.
And who are they facing?
They are going to
the Chicago Bears, baby. in Chicago. Joey, I'll let you lead this one off if you'd like, sir.
Yeah, away. Yeah, we'll lead. Really bad game. I mean, not really bad game against the Eagles, but, like, we didn't win, so that sucked. I liked what I saw from the offense until Rodgers went out. He's got a hurt rib and a hurt thumb now. Mm-hmm. Well, he's had the hurt thumb, but now he has a hurt rib, I should say. I'm still gonna ride with the Packers here because obviously it's the Bears and Rodgers is the guy. This guy, Chris, making faces across from me. The rivalry's already starting, bro. I can't wait to rub it in after we win. Anyway, Rodgers, he's got to renew his ownership. Has to do it twice a year, and I think Christian Watson has looked amazing. The defense, I think my boy Devondre Campbell is going to be back for us. Aside from that, our playoff hopes and stuff are pretty much dead in the water. Although Rodgers says we're not mathematically eliminated, I think that's a bunch of BS.
So you're
after
saying
this game,
there's a chance.
Shout out to Dumb and Dumber though. It's kind of like what this matchup is. We're dumb and you guys are dumber because the record wise. But we might be dumber after this. We don't know what this Packers team has in store. They've lost to pretty much everyone this team this year. So we'll see what happens, but I'm riding with the boys, and you can expect Christian Watson to get in the end zone again because all he does is score touchdowns.
Jeez. All right. I'm surprised that Aaron Rodgers is expected to play. I don't see really the point. I know you're thinking there's a chance, but why? Especially against
I think it's a little pointless too, but
especially because I'm rolling with my boys, especially at home. I hope we are competitive, and I hope we try and make it a close game at least. But we're lost everybody right now, man.
Yeah.
It's no Justin Fields as of right now, although he was a very late Sunday scratch last week. So I'm confident that he might play. But we've lost Roquan, Robert Quinn, now Mooney, Eddie Jackson, Khalil Herbert, a couple of offensive linemen. We've lost everybody. This team's banged up. Jalen Johnson is going to be out, I think, too. But, yeah, I still want to win. I'm thinking about that number 2 overall pick. Hopefully we make a good choice with it if we do get it, and all the money we have to spend next year to maybe protect Fields, surround him with some weapons. But I still want to win, and especially because the win-loss all-time record is still in play here, and this game will be crucial.
Torn between the two of you. Look at me. Which side do I pick? Do I go with the green and gold? Do I go with the orange
Green
and
and
navy?
gold.
With the family.
Two
guys
colors
gotta-
of
you
two
guys
colors
gotta
of
convince
money, bro. How
You
can you
gotta
go
go
wrong
against
with
the
green and gold?
family.
You guys, the family.
The family.
I don't know, man. All I gotta say is,
It's the family.
give me that damn cheese head.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Lee Corso in this.
Yeah, dead ass.
Give me that head.
Give me that one! Anyways, I'm going with the Cheeseheads. No matter who starts, I think they have a better chance of winning this game against the Chicago Bears. And even that said, if the Chicago Bears don't have Justin Fields, even more slam freaking picking Green Bay, just because who's it? Simeon and Peterman are your guys' quarterbacks.
We just signed some
Tim
random guy
Boyle.
today. Tim
He ain't
Boyle,
no
I
random
know.
guy.
He's some
Alright,
guy off the
whatever.
street.
Get that out your
That's
mouth.
some guy off the
This,
streets.
this
for
guy
me,
was
honestly.
bagging groceries at Drew Osco just a couple of days ago,
Hey, yo.
dude.
No, he was not.
Anyways, yeah, I'm going with the Cheeseheads. I think they have a nice chance of winning this game no matter who starts.
I don't
But-
blame you.
Yeah, I mean, it's I get you. You got to pick with your heart, and that's how all of us do with our teams. So that's why you guys are
Hey.
split right now.
Except
Not
for that
all
one
of
time.
us.
Except for that one time.
Not all of us. You didn't pick the Packers a couple weeks ago. Mark
I
didn't pick the
didn't
Steelers last
I
week.
didn't pick the
Shout
Packers
out
last
Mark.
week for that
I'm
matter.
the only guy that's been faithful to my
Yeah.
team all
You're
year.
the only guy with a good team, though,
Well,
right?
yeah, geez, honestly, it's been pretty easy to pick the
Yeah.
freaking
Well,
Dolphins.
I mean, you got to still pick your team, even good or bad. I mean, that's what you guys are doing. But anyways, Chris, take us to this next game.
Oh, this next game. I bet you can't wait for this next
It's a
game.
nice household
I
game.
like this next game. Yeah, Both teams have a sort of not so special, but a place in the heart somewhere deep in there. My dad.
It's somewhere there.
My dad's a Lions fan, and I rooted for the Jags for a while just because of my buddy Blake playing there and whatnot. I love
The
this
boat.
game. I love this game. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars going to the Detroit Lions is going to be a great matchup. Two teams that are kind of disappointing this year, but still lately figuring it out, it seems like a bit, and growing, which is exciting to see. I'm taking the Lions at home. But this game could go either way, especially with the confidence Doug Peterson just gave Trevor Lawrence with allowing him to go for 2 on that last touchdown to win the game.
So you're saying you're going for both teams or what?
Oh, man. I like the way Trevor Lawrence has looked last game, but I'm still going to go with the Lions here.
Don't lie. You're going for both teams.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to keep an eye on this game, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, can't blame you. We have
Both teams up there.
two of your favorite teams. Chris, in terms of picking, he's actually going with the Lions for people watching. And in terms of just fandom, he's going for both teams. Just to put it out there for people questioning what's with the logos there. But this is a tough game. You have the Lions, who have been looking really good for a while, just not good enough to actually come out on top in a lot of these games. And you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who have a lot of ups and downs, but just pulled off a pretty big win, in my own opinion. But I got to go with the Lions. They're at home. I think something's got to give. I think they got to get a good win sometime soon, and I think now is the time, especially against a team that you can pretty much bud yourself up against in terms of, all right, this is kind of a rebuilding team or trying to get better, trying to get past that rebuilding phase. I wouldn't necessarily put the Detroit Lions in terms of the young quarterback play, because they have an established veteran in terms of Jared Goff, but not the very best quarterback. And then you have a young, hopeful, number 1 overall pick who has been doing decent so far this season. I wouldn't say good. I wouldn't say bad. Just there's a bunch in there and out.
Up and down, yeah.
But more so good than bad as of late. So that's good for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What about you, Joey? Where are you going here?
It's been tough because the Lions are playing really good football. My boy Jamal Williams, stud.
Yes, sir.
15 touchdowns on the year this year, I think. Don't quote me on that. Either he has 15 or 15 plus, which either way is outstanding.
Yeah.
5 years with the Packers, had 12 in total.
What?
Put that into perspective. I still am going to pick against them. I'm going with the Jaguars. I think that they're going to pull out a win, especially after they that just amazing two-point attempt and comeback win, and Trevor Lawrence looked awesome. He looked like what he should be. And I hope Duval continues this.
First down.
And let's see what T-Law,
Let's see what
T-Law and company have in store.
Catch it, yo. We got to make that a thing. T-Law. I've been trying to make it catch. I've been saying it a lot around the office trying to make it catch on. It hasn't worked yet, but hey. If you're in board too, man.
I'm in with T-Law, bro. I'm in with T-Law, bro. Hey, we can go back on this podcast where we were just trashing him. We sucked. This guy,
big time.
This guy specifically, but I agreed. I'm not agreeing anymore. T-Law, baby. Let's go. What a comeback against the Ravens. They're going to continue this momentum against the Lions.
Really quick before we move on to the next game, I'm giving him his flowers. He looked good. He really put them in a position there. That Marvin Jones touchdown, really questionable. Did he get both feet in?
I think he did.
He got his heel and his knee down on the same leg. I understand sometimes that's considered like pretty much putting 2 down, which, I mean, if we're going to be flip-flopping the rules here, like why are we doing that? I get it. It made it for a better game, made it for a better story. Good win by the Jaguars. But Detroit, I don't think they can defeat the Detroit Lions, but it could be very close to either one. Like, it could be anyone. And that's...
Chris has both logos next to him. That's awesome.
That could be the story for any of the games this week, which are going to be a lot closely contested. But, Joey, take us to this next game.
Hey, man.
Hey, man.
I warned you guys about Mike White, and look what happened. beast, certified GOAT. Put him on a poster in your bedroom, Jets fans, because this guy is a GOAT, and he might even be your franchise quarterback before we even know it. But I think they do have a tall task ahead of them against the Minnesota Vikings. That is who they're playing. Jets at Vikings in Minnesota. Hate to say it, but it is a beautiful stadium. This is tough because I love Mike White, and I've been kind of on the Jets bandwagon a little bit this year. Ever since they kind of creamed us and humbled us. So I like what they got going, but I don't think that they win this game against Minnesota. As much as I've hated on Minnesota, as much as I do hate Minnesota, lock me in for the Vikings on this one. No hate to the Jets or anything. Still love you guys, but this is a tall task. Hopefully Mike White shocks the world, shocks me, shocks everybody, and pulls out another great performance and wins the game.
I'm going with Minnesota.
Don't you know? You betcha.
I'm going with Minnesota at home.
You betcha.
Really looking forward to this Sauce Gardner Justin Jefferson matchup. I think it's gonna be really awesome to see. I hope he tests the young rookie and they try a couple deep balls.
I think Kirk will. I think he's grown a pair over late.
Yeah, dude, he's on one lately. He's on one definitely. I'm gonna take him. Although like there's a lot at stake for both teams in this game. Minnesota could potentially be NFC champions and get the number 1 overall seed. Philly is in the lead right now, of course, but they have a tough schedule and they have a tough game this week, so you never know what could happen. Plus, the Jets are trying to make the playoffs for the first time in a while. So, tough game to pick, but I'm going with the home team here. And Minnesota has looked good all year, and it's the Jets.
Speaking of the Jets, I might be dumb enough to actually pick them. I'm going to go with the Jets. It's kind of funny. You guys are both going with Minnesota. I'm going with also a divisional opponent in the New York Jets. I don't know, man. This Mike White wave, I love it. I love seeing guys from South Florida getting into the league and performing really well. So hoping he does really good, but it sucks it's for the Jets. That's just my personal opinion. But, yeah, like you alluded to, both teams are fighting in the playoffs. I went over the AFC standings, but the Minnesota Vikings are fighting with the Philadelphia Eagles for the number 1 seed in the NFC currently. They're pretty much running away with the division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's a slim chance. Like, if they lose every single game from here on out and like one of your guys' teams win every single game from here on out, then yeah, they lose the division. There's no chance of that happening, in my personal opinion, because I think Minnesota could win this game. I think they might, but I'm gonna go with the Jets just for the time being. But one thing I want to allude to is both teams have strengths and weaknesses playing once on each side of the ball, right? The strength of the New York Jets, their defense. What's the strength of the Minnesota Vikings? Their offense. You know, they have a pretty good offense this year. Justin Jefferson's even doing better than he was last year, and he was doing really good last year and the year before that. So he's second in terms of receiving yards, right behind Tyreek. And on top of that, the weaknesses for both teams are facing each other. So it's going to be interesting. You're going to see the Jets offense, which is looking a lot better with Mike White, so it's not so much of a weakness. But then on top of that, Minnesota's defense hasn't been the best. But in terms of standings, if Philadelphia loses and Minnesota wins, Philadelphia is still on top just for the tiebreaker because they played the Vikings and they beat them. So still not all in there at the 1 seed, but it's going to come down to the wire. I think both teams have a chance of getting at it, but it's going to be tough, like I said. Let's move on to the next game. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Atlanta Falcons. This one is quite the doozy.
This game sucks.
I think we're all on the same boat here, so we can announce a pick and then talk about them real quick. Ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Falcons.
Go Birds.
Yeah, we're all going Birds here.
Red Birds.
But I know Chris wants to say something about this game, huh?
Oh man, I mean, I took Pittsburgh, and I was one of the only ones to take Pittsburgh last week, and they won. So shout out to the Steelers fans, except for Mark, because
Fake
Mark is a fake fan because he didn't take his team.
Fan.
He didn't trust them, and he faded them, unfortunately, and they won. I'm taking Atlanta, like we all said, at home. man, like, how bad does Desmond Ridder have to be to still be on the bench? I know they potentially are, I guess, competing for the division, but are they really? I don't know. But, like, man, you would have thought you'd see him by now, honestly, in my opinion. But I don't know. This game could go either way, just like a lot of the other ones we've mentioned. But I'm going with the home team here, and I'm going to take the Falcons.
Yeah, we're all going with the Falcons, so I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I think Cordero Patterson's going to take off. I always say that with the Falcons. Probably run it back for every podcast. Yeah, I say it every week. And he's a good player, so I think that they're going to do it. Pittsburgh has some running back injuries. Najee Harris is hurt, but Benny Snell looking like he's probably going to get the start. So we'll see what happens there. Just going with Atlanta. They played really good against a good Washington team. So
One thing I want to add is don't completely rule out the Steelers. I know we're all going Falcons here, but Pittsburgh, first of all, is favored in this game on the road. In terms of money line, it's pretty much a pick 'em. Falcons were minus 105. Pittsburgh is minus 115. So literally, one little thing it could sway it to literally be a pick 'em all across the board. Over under set at 42. I think this has a good potential on being a tough game that could flip flop at any point. But yeah, what are you doing, Mark? You got to go with your team at all times. That's pretty
I was
upsetting
like,
to
who are
see.
you talking to?
What?
You just confused me. Like, what are you doing? I was like, oh, man.
No.
But, yeah, I agree. Man.
Yeah, Mark, what are you doing? Well,
What
Chris,
are you
bring us
doing?
in here. Huh? What do we got next?
Well, this was one of the great games of the week I was alluding to. Man, lots of great games.
Yeah, good games.
Lots of great games this week. Lots of storylines. A.J. Brown revenge game here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with the Eagles to win at home. I think they have a lot of guys on defense that could get after the quarterback and put a lot of pressure on Tannehill when he does throw the ball. So in the few times he does actually have to pass, I think he's going to be under a lot of distress. And I do think they also have a couple guys behind the front line to stop the run as well. They have a couple big linebackers that I think will match up. I don't think anybody matches up well against Derrick Henry because he's a freaking truck, but they're bigger too, and I think they have what it takes to keep this Tennessee offense, at bay and get a nice little dub at home.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Titans to win against this Philadelphia Eagles team. You have Jalen Hurts, who's playing at like an MVP level, but the team surrounding him is also good. And that's something that you could say for a lot of these MVP caliber players. But their play also dictates whether or not that team does good. Jalen Hurts went off last week against the Green Bay Packers. Sorry, Joey, but he ran all over them. Had over 100 yards within the first quarter almost, or he did.
and yet we still only lost by a touchdown.
Yeah, no, and kudos to you guys. But you guys did run into the best team in football, and you also got your quarterback hurt, so that definitely put a damper in things. But Jordan Love went in there and did pretty well. But let's keep talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. Like Chris said, A.J. Brown facing his former team.
Yeah.
And if you have him in fantasy, I think you should start him. I think he has some built-up animosity, and I think he wants to get at least 2 touchdowns. He's already had a 3-touchdown performance this year. I don't think it's going to get that far, but I think 2, you can probably almost book at least 1 for sure. But, yeah, I'm going with the Eagles. Titans, I don't think if they can't get Derrick Henry running off good, then they're going to get in trouble really quick, really fast.
I agree with that. I have A.J. Brown in fantasy, and I'm starting him. So let's get a good performance. Please, A.J. Brown, against your former team. Really need it. Going with the Eagles, too, just because, they're really good. I mean, that's no question. They're 10-1 for a reason. And I don't know. I feel like this game's going to be very close, potentially going to overtime. I just think that the better team is going to win this game, and I think it's going to be the Eagles. I know it's a cliche kind of answer, but I'm going with it.
All right, who we got next?
Up next, we got the Washington Commanders at the New York Giants. My grandfather really could use a Giants win. He's been pretty sad about the Giants losing to the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. And then before that, he just thought they were getting into a groove and starting to get good. He's had a pretty tough go with it the past couple weeks, and I think they could use a good win for him. I was going to ride against the Giants because Taylor Heineke has been doing pretty good and that they might get Chase Young back and yada, yada, yada. But I don't want a first-class ticket to hell, so I'm going to the Giants. Lock me in.
Chris, what about you?
Oh, man. I'm glad you picked the Giants, bro. I'm also going to pick the Giants. Shout out Grams.
Shout out Paca.
Shout out Paca. Hopefully these Giants get a win for you here. I think they are the better team, in my opinion. Chase Young coming back is huge, although we've heard that, I think, the last
we've heard it quite a bit.
Where it's like, oh, he's close, he's coming back, he's ready to go. I don't know. If he comes back, might influence a lot of people's picks, but I'm going to go with the Giants at home here. I think they are the better team. And this is like a really big game for Daniel Jones to be like, all right, I can actually lead a team and win divisional games when it matters. And he's got to prove it, and he's got to prove it to Paca.
Yep, he does.
Hey, that is true. Like, as well as the Giants have been doing this year, they've struggled to win those type of games. And given you've played, the Cowboys and Eagles, and I think this is the first time they played the Commanders this year, right? Yeah, right?
Yeah.
Because they play them at the end of the season. But, yeah, you've already played the Eagles and Cowboys dropped both of those games. You need a divisional win, especially if you want to stay within the playoff race. On top of that, divisional
I don't think
race.
the Giants have played the Eagles yet.
I'm pretty sure they have. They've had to play at least one game at some point.
I don't want to speak for anybody here.
Yeah.
But when I looked at the schedule,
Uh-huh.
the Giants were later on in the year. I think they played the last game of the year and maybe week 14.
They play Washington, Philly, Washington, and then play the Eagles again the last game of the year. But they have 3 divisional games back to back.
That's what stuck out for me with the
Yeah.
Giants schedule.
Okay. But either way, you got to win these divisional games, and I think the Giants can finally get one against the Commanders. But if Chase Young comes back, man, really makes it hard to do it, to go against the Commanders because they've been doing so well as of late. Heineke, like you alluded to, has been quite the playmaker for them, and it's the little things. It's not like he's just being an all-worldly MVP caliber type of player. He's just been doing the right things, putting this team in a position to win. Defense also helps out with that. If you add Chase Young to the mix, it's like that video of the guy, he's frying something, he throws some fries in the pot and just fire. Literally, if you add Chase Young to that defense, it could be very much that. And it could be back to that old form of how they were playing the first 2 years of him being in that system. Now, it's about time we get to the 4 o'clock window, and probably my favorite time of the week, talking about the Miami Dolphins. And they're going to San Francisco to play the 49ers. One of the themes that we've talked about this week is players, coaches, whatever it may be, facing former teams. We had the one with Deshaun Watson playing the Texans. We have A.J. Brown playing the Titans. And then now we got Mike McDaniel coming to San Francisco to play the 49ers, faces a former mentor in Kyle Shanahan. And one of two things is going to happen in this game. There's either going to be an offensive output like none other, or it's going to be a defensive showdown because they know each other so well. They literally have the same system, same scheme. I think this has the making for, like I said, one of two things. It's not going to be like one team blows out the other. I think it's going to be a shootout or a defensive showdown. I think it's going to be the latter. I think both teams are going to try really hard to stop one another. And it's going to be tough because the offense on both sides here have Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, even though he hasn't been a major factor this season for the Dolphins, Jeff Wilson, Raheem Mostert can have the ability to just run all over this team. Good defense, don't get me wrong. Then you have the 49ers with Deebo Samuel. I forgot who not Jeff Wilson. Elijah Mitchell is a running back for the 49ers.
I bet they wish they had Jeff Wilson.
Yeah,
right now.
they got rid of him, and then now trouble in paradise there. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, guys have been coming along. Jimmy Garoppolo's playing pretty well. I wouldn't put him at necessarily at the MVP level, but definitely has been a major factor in whether or not this San Francisco team has success. That being said, it's a no-brainer who I got to go with here. I got to go with the Finns. They very well could lose this game, and if you were to lose a game within this next 3-game stretch, you lose this game to the 49ers. Got to win the next 2 against the Chargers and Bills if you want to stay relevant within that AFC East. And top of that, AFC, just playoff picture in general. But who wants to go next?
I'll do it. I like the Dolphins. I have liked them all year, and I'm going with the Dolphins.
Hey.
I think that the 49ers have looked pretty good since the acquisition of Christian McCaffrey.
Huge.
He had
There
that
we go. That's what I
really good
forgot.
game where he caught, rushed, and passed for one. Sorry. And after that, it's a little bit, what have you done for me lately? But not with the Dolphins, man. They're freaking moving that rock. They're putting it in the end zone. Their defense is coming through. I mean, Tua was on the bench before even halftime. I mean, it was pretty pathetic. So I'm going with the Dolphins here, and I think they're going to win in convincing fashion.
Oof, 2 great offenses here, crazy weapons on both teams. I'm gonna go with the home team in San Fran. I'm gonna go against you guys. I gotta go against you guys. Hopefully it's a win at home for them, and hopefully I get a game on you guys to move up in the rankings. But yeah, I think this is the young Padawan going back to fight the master here. It's a good narrative. I like it. I think Teron Armstead possibly being out is a huge loss for the Dolphins, and something that they'll probably try to exploit if he is out. Hopefully he's not, for Dolphin fans' sake. But yeah, awesome game here. I'm going with the Niners at home. Sorry, guys.
You're good. Real quick, yeah, the injury to Teron Armstead looking mediocre for the Dolphins, like in terms of his availability. It's a pectoral injury, and luckily not out for the season, but the chances of him playing Sunday, slim to none. But there's a chance. There's a chance, and I think if he has a chance to play, he will play, just like little Aaron Rodgers for the Packers. If there's a chance he will play. But, Chris, why don't you take us to this next 4 o'clock game?
Ooh, man. Division game. I would have thought this would be...
sucks.
Yeah, I would have thought this game would be a lot better, but like the gross man over there said, this game kind of sucks. But I'm going with Seattle on the road, in fact. And since we have started this podcast, Aaron Donald got ruled out.
Yes.
So
That is a fact.
since we literally have been started the podcast, and what is today?
Wednesday.
Exactly. Ruled out pretty early on into the week. I'm going with Gino and them boys and them dirty birds of Seattle.
Well, the Sea Chickens have looked very good this year.
Sea chickens.
They're playing team ball, and I like it. I like Kenneth Walker, although he might be in contention with Christian Watson. Put some respect on his name. For Offensive Rookie of the Year. So we'll see what happens there. But I'm going with Seattle. LA has just looked abysmal all year. Top 3 teams of the most underwhelming or disappointing teams all year.
The Rams.
Packers, Rams, Broncos. And it's not even close. And the patheticness rolls on to 3-9 with an easy win for Seattle this week.
I definitely agree with that. The whole underwhelming part is like, these are teams you fully expected. Like,
Yeah.
so 2 of those, well, all 3 of them playing Christmas, right? And like I was looking at the Christmas games today with one of our coworkers, and literally like we were just going through it, and we're just like, even though the Dolphins are playing the Packers, even that game has moved to like kind of like
Game sucks now,
yeah.
bro.
Yeah, and then
We're planning on going. I'm like, damn, I might just spend it with the fam, bro.
Yeah, and then the night game that game
Some
too
fan you are.
is like Cardinals and someone else, and like both teams is not looking good. We also have the Rams hosting the Broncos in that one, and that one doesn't look that good anymore
But they're
either.
hurt. Like, what do you
Yeah, no, and I understand that, but like the Broncos have been underwhelming in terms of just Russell Wilson's performance. I get it; injuries have happened to that team as well, and like every team deals with injuries. It's just how you like combat it. You know?
They have no Cooper Kupp, no Matt Stafford,
No,
no Aaron
I'm talking about the
Donald.
Broncos right now.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking
I
about
was
the
gonna
Broncos.
say.
I literally said Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
for the
All right.
Rams, yeah, like injury plague. This is one that you can't overcome. Like, you have your best receiver going down, you have your starting quarterback go down, you have the best pass rusher in all of NFL, the best defensive lineman in all of NFL, probably NFL history, just now is ruled out for this game. Things
Whoa.
just aren't adding up for the Los Angeles Rams. Seahawks had a tough loss last week in overtime to the Las Vegas Raiders. And Josh Jacobs absolutely ran all over them, ran all over my fantasy team. And now I have to make a video explaining about how Josh Jacobs royally screwed me from winning. Well, on top of that,
You got me the week before, too. Don't worry. Don't worry.
I feel like he's gotten at least every person that plays fantasy once this year.
Yeah. It's
at least once.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate. But let's move on to the next game. Probably might be game of the week, like you alluded to sometime earlier today, or
Well, I was saying that the Dolphins game should be game of the week, but this is game of the week. You want me to take it?
Yeah.
I'll take it.
I got it. Real
All
quick.
right, go for it.
But yeah, we have the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Kansas City, top team in the AFC right now. I believe they're 9-2, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 9-2, taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, who are fighting to possibly be the AFC North division winners. At 7-4, they're right behind the Ravens. But either way, rematch of the AFC Championship, and this is where the Cincinnati Bengals still won. This is not in Arrowhead. This is in Cincinnati at Paycor Stadium now, no longer Paul Brown Stadium. What? This is a tough one, man. You have the Bengals, who may get Jamar Chase back. If that's the case, it's going to be a huge deciding factor for a lot of people picking this game. But you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who, no matter what, whoever's in there, offensively have had success. Defensively, looking good to mediocre. And same thing for the Bengals defense. I think the offenses in this game are really the deciding factors. But, Joey, who you got here?
Honestly, I have the Kansas City Chiefs. I know that they're going to Cincinnati. Cincinnati's not any slouch. They just beat a really good Titans team. And Jamar Chase might be back. So that connection might be back. The Burrow to Chase, the whole offensive rookie of the year type thing, We might see it in full force against suspect Kansas City Chiefs secondary.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see what happens there. But either way, I think Kansas City outguns them, even with Jamar Chase. And they just signed Melvin Gordon.
Yep.
They to all the Isaiah Pacheco fantasy owners, don't really know what to say. Hopefully, Melvin Gordon continues the fumbles and the really low production and the crappy play, and Isaiah Pacheco continues to pop off. But I'm going with the Chiefs.
Real quick, Chris, before I cut you off.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think Andy Reid's trying to pull off a little Bill Belichick move there, signing a player of a team that they're going to play down the line. I know it's not that important of a game, but, signing a former
Learn their
Broncos
playbook
player.
real quick.
Yeah, just like, hey, we're playing the Broncos, especially that game got flexed out.
In the division.
That game was supposed to be Sunday night of next week, and that has now been flexed out to Dolphins Chargers. But I'll make my pick real quick. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think they're the better team overall.
I'm have to agree with you guys. I'm gonna go with the Chiefs. Jamar Chase came out and said that he fully expects to play in this game.
Big factor.
I don't think so.
Huge.
I don't think it's a big factor, really. I don't think he'll get more than maybe 15 snaps if he does come back. He's coming back from like a hairline fracture in his hip. Like that's something that takes a lot of time, and I don't think they want him out there too much. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think they're gonna win. I just think they're the better football team. But yeah, great rematch. Should be a good game too.
Who we got next?
Well, the next game, Los Angeles Chargers going to the Las Vegas Raiders. I haven't picked this one yet. Normally, I go through and pick the ones that I truly know that I'm gonna pick, and then I kind of decide as we go, or let you guys convince us.
Yeah, we'll convince you.
But I don't know. I think this one, I think you gotta roll with the Chargers here. Honestly, I think they're clearly been the better team. Although, like you guys both mentioned, Josh Jacobs has gone crazy lately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Josh Jacobs has been going crazy lately. I already alluded to it, but he absolutely ruined me in fantasy last week, and it's very upsetting. But the Chargers are the better team. Injuries or not, it's going to be tough if they don't have Keenan Allen and Mike Williams in there, then switch might happen here and go to the Raiders. But I don't know, this Raiders team is hard to root for at this time, man. They let you down, and then when you least expect it, they have like this crazy win against the Seahawks, stuff like that. It really makes it hard to pick a team like the Las Vegas Raiders. A little bit more consistency from the Chargers here, but nothing I would love to see more than the Chargers possibly lose and go into this matchup against the Dolphins a little bit more heated and needing a win and just desperately trying to play the Dolphins. But that's neither here or there. Who you got, Joey?
Tough. Divisional game.
Yep.
Austin Eckler is just a beast,
Yep.
and it's just I always try to root against the Chargers so much or pick against them, but then I'm like, damn, they got Eckler though, and he's always going to get into the end zone. Death, taxes, and Austin Eckler getting a touchdown. 3 things you can guarantee in life.
Keenan Allen's gonna play. He's pretty good too.
Yeah, if Allen plays, then Chargers.
Nonetheless, I think that Vegas, that connection with Carr and Adams is still great. Has been since college. It's great all year. That catch last week, I don't know if you guys saw it, where they just kind of fit it in there on the sideline. Beautiful. I'm going to go with Devontae and the Raiders again. They didn't do me wrong last week, so I'm going to ride with them again. Once a Packer, always a Packer. So let's do it.
Anyways, one thing I want to allude to, everyone else in the league right now is picking the Chargers, so he's the only one going with the Raiders. So
Raider Nation. Let's ride.
What?
Joey, you want to ride us into this
I will
Sunday
ride
night
us
game?
into this game. I'm going to
Don't fall
ride
asleep.
my horse because the Colts are going to Dallas to play the Cowboys, who have a lot of momentum. And who knows, maybe by next week they might have Odell Beckham. I don't expect them to have it by this Sunday because he's been I know that he's going to the Giants tomorrow, which should be today by the time this is out. And then he'll go to the Cowboys shortly after on Friday or Saturday. And then I know he has a meeting with the Bills sometime also at this weekend. So it might be Friday, and then Saturday he's going to Buffalo. But I don't know what's going on there. But I expect them to have Odell Beckham Jr., and I expect them to have a strong Super Bowl push. And they're going to continue it with a win here against Jeff Saturday and the Colts. I will give credit to the Colts and Jeff Saturday. They've looked really good so far. Really close game on Monday Night Football. Didn't really stay up for the whole game. Watched the highlights. I was quite impressed with what they had to offer. And, we'll see what happens here. If they can pull off an upset win against Dallas, that is huge.
So one thing I want to add to Joey's statement is Colts have looked good, decent. Clock management, it was the main story leaving that Monday night game.
Yes.
End of the game, they have the ball, almost 2 minutes left, and the clock's just ticking, and they're trying to go down the field. They're doing a decent job.
The inexperience really got to Jeff Saturday.
And
but other than that, they were moving
and I
the
think
ball
he was putting
very
his
efficiently.
faith in Matt Ryan to make that decision. He's like, you're the veteran here in terms of playing in the NFL. You should know when to call a timeout or not. I guess that's kind of the philosophy that was going there. But you
You're
know
a
when
head
you gotta pull the
coach.
plug
Yeah.
and
You're
say,
a
hey,
coach.
timeout. You let almost 2 minutes bleed dry, and then next thing you know, you're out of range to kick a field goal, get in the end zone. You're just not in that zone anymore, and it was very unfortunate to see from the Colts. I don't think they win this game against the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are one of the top teams in the NFL currently.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. To be honest, bad luck for Jeff Saturday last week. Cowboys are one of the better teams in the NFL right now, especially on both sides of the ball. They're pretty good, honestly, and they could use Odell, but they're doing just fine without him.
Yeah, I don't think they
too.
necessarily need him.
But yeah,
But
I
imagine
think,
when they do get him.
I don't know if they will. I honestly, I don't know where he's going to go, but I'm going to go with the boys to win. Plus, they're at home, late night game, big time game for them.
Jerry World's going to be rocking or what?
It's going to be crazy. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be loud. And I think they blow them out almost, is what I'm feeling.
Ooh. Okay, well, the over-under is set at 43.5. And then on top of that, the money line is at -11. So you're on the right track.
If there was any game to flex out to a night slot, it should have been Miami and 49ers flexed to the night game, and this game moved, to the 1 o'clock window. Or anything. This game sucks. Like Chris said, it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, but you don't know that going into the season. Yeah. This game looked probably a lot better at the beginning of the year than it does right now.
Yeah,
very true. But they can flex the games out.
Yeah. One other thing is I think the 49ers have been flexed quite a few times this season already. And, I'm not saying there's a cap, but they're just like, all right, let's give everyone else their chances. And I get it. Both of these teams are heavily nationally televised, too. So it's just like, you had the chance. You probably could have, but they did it for next week. So that's good to know. I think it was too late to do it, honestly. But, Christopher, take us to this wrapping up this Monday night game.
Monday night game, divisional game. New Orleans Saints taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's in Tampa. Yo, this is two of my good friends' teams going against each other. Well, I have a lot of friends that are Buccaneers, but I want to specifically shout out my friend Sean. He watches the podcast all the time. And
Love it.
What up, Sean?
He came down this past weekend, and he told me that I don't give him a shout out. He says I talk about everybody else, but I never give him a shout out. So shout out Sean. Hopefully these Bucks get a win for you at home. I'm rolling with Gotti and the Saints.
Oh!
And, yo,
he's picking favorites there, Sean.
I'm not picking favorites. Can never pick between two guys that are practically family, but. Man, this is going to be a good game. I hope, because I didn't even watch this past Monday night game. I watched Lori Markkinen revenge game against the Bulls.
Hey, how'd that go?
The Bulls won, so it was a great game. So it was much better than what Monday night was this past weekend. So hopefully this one's a bit better, but, man, let my guy Jameis play, please.
Oh, he has to.
Please.
If they let Jameis play, I'm riding with the Saints. But as for now, I'm riding with the Buccaneers. I'm riding with Brady. And I'm riding with Sean. Sean, I'm sorry I missed you last weekend. Was at home. Hope you had a good time. Missed you. Hopefully I can see you soon. And I hope that the Buccaneers get a win for you. This is huge. If they continue this momentum, 5-6 is not bad. Not bad shape. They're already in the playoffs as of right now, but they need to keep stacking these wins and keep being the top of the division. Because if you're not the top of the division in this thing, you're not going to the playoffs. You're not going to get a wild card spot because it's too low. So they just got to keep at the top, and I expect them to, and I expect them to come out with a win.
Yeah, the Buccaneers losing last week was a real dent in their playoff chances, and on top of that, they just haven't looked the best all season. So I don't necessarily think once they get to the playoffs, they're gonna have quite the run, because it just doesn't feel the same with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team as it has for the last 2 years. But I'm on board with you. If the Saints have Jameis Winston, I'm going Saints. But for the time being, I gotta go with the Buccaneers. You can't follow up a tough loss like that with another one, especially against a division opponent at home, prime time. This is when Brady thrives. You give him enough fuel, he's gonna burn the house down, and that house is Raymond James Stadium. He's gonna burn that shit to the fucking ground. It's gonna be crazy.
That stadium stinks.
It does suck.
That stadium does suck.
Screw that stadium. We all worked it for Skycam, and it sucked. It was hell.
We're all scarred, but
y'all got lost.
Oh, at the stadium?
Yes.
I specifically got lost. I was lost for a while.
It's the same. To be fair, it all kind of looks the same there. But I don't know. Did you see the latest news that Tom Brady kind of wants to retire a Patriot?
I saw that.
I saw the news of that, but
the rumors.
It won't happen.
But okay, is he retiring like a signed day,
Yeah,
a one-day
right,
contract with the
exactly.
Patriots, or is he gonna
We'll
play
see.
for the
Is there-
Patriots once again? I don't think he
I
would.
know the whole divorce is final and everything, but do you guys think that Tom Brady plays after this year? I mean, if
If he's able
if he
yeah.
plays after this year, then when does he call it quits until he gets one more? That's just ridiculous. And no offense, but if he wants one more, he might have to hop to another team, and he is a free agent after this season.
Packers.
So-
That leaves
Ha.
that leaves a lot of questions up in the air. But that pretty much wraps it up for this week's edition of NFL Game Picks. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll catch you guys next week. Later.
Go Pack, go.